Hello everyone, welcome back or welcome if you're new. I'm Rainbow Jack and today I'll be redesigning Cat Noir. Also, don't forget to subscribe, leave a like and follow me on all of my social media. If you wanna see more drawings and animations and stuff, you'll find all of my links down in the description. Okay, bye, love you! Hello friends, how are you? I'm finally back. It's been 5 months since my last redesign and I'm really sorry for that. I was working on commissions and I wanted to draw more as well, and I also had some moments when I felt a bit burnt out and stressed, but I forced myself to finish what I had to do and then I felt better and now I finally finished this video. I'll move faster with the rest of the redesigns. I want to finish them in less than 5 years. Rina Rouge will be next because she won the poll that I posted a while ago on my community tab. I'll also post another poll soon to decide who I'm gonna redesign after Rina Rouge, so make sure you check the community tab for that. Also, very belated Christmas and a happy new year everyone. I hope you had an amazing December. I'm sorry I didn't wish you all happy holidays, during the holidays. I hope this year will be amazing for all of us and I hope we all get to fulfill our resolutions for 2023. Please let me know in the comments what some of your resolutions are for this year. Some of mine are doing more videos than last year. I want to start more fun series on my channel. I want to draw more characters from all sorts of shows, but I won't reveal anything yet because I want to surprise you guys. I already had planned the next series. It's gonna be a spooky one, which I actually wanted to start during Halloween, but you know me. If you have any guesses for the next series, please leave them in the comments. Please make sure to watch my Ladybug redesign if you haven't already, because I explain some of the rules that I want to follow in all of my redesigns, and because in this video I will also talk about her and how I decided to rework her powers. And one last thing before I get into the redesign, I want to thank you all for subscribing and helping me reach 1,433 subscribers. This means so much to me and I love you and appreciate you all so much. Another resolution that I have for this year is to hopefully reach 10,000 subscribers this year. I really don't know how reachable this goal is, but I can only do it with your help, so please subscribe and leave a like if you want to see more stuff from me, okay? But thank you again. I really wasn't expecting to grow so fast on YouTube because it took me 10 months to make my first 100 subs, and then you guys liked my Ladybug redesign so much that I reached 1,000 subs in like 2 weeks, which is very crazy to see all the views and subs grow so fast. I also really appreciate all of your comments. They always make me happy and motivate me to do more and better videos, and they show me that you really enjoy watching my content. So please leave comments because I read and respond to all of them. I still have a few unread comments from previous videos because I suck at organizing myself, but I respond to those too. Okay, thanks for listening to me and please enjoy the rest of the video. Let's talk about Cat's costume now. So, like I did with Ladybug, my goal was to add more complexity to his costume and to also kind of make it look more dangerous, because I wanted to portray the destructive element more, since in the show his power is to destroy things. I also wanted to add more shapes and to break the classic monotone silhouette that most of the costumes from the show suffer from, and I also wanted to show more personality through the costume. In the beginning stages of creating his costume, it was very difficult for me to decide what direction I should take. Like, I really thought I won't end up making an outfit that's too different and the final result will be boring AF, but the idea started to come as soon as I randomly started to play with shapes. Since I don't have too much experience with redesigns and hero costumes, it was hard for me to find some patterns and elements that made sense and didn't look ridiculous, and it's very easy for hero costumes to fall into the ridiculous area in general. I also wanted to blend in some parts of his original suit because I wanted to still have something from the show, and I think in the end I managed to do that. But the hardest part was definitely the sketching phase. Now let's talk about his mask and ears. I wanted to make them more interesting, so I added some cool patterns on the ears, and on the mask I added some whiskers to make it look more cat-like, because I also said in my previous video that some of the masks are very boring in the show and they could do so much more with them. And speaking of cat-like elements, I created some scratch mark type of patterns on his costume. And also on his chest there's a gray spot that resembles the markings that some cats have. To be honest, I was inspired by Tom from Tom and Jerry because he has that white spot on his torso. And for Cat Noir, if you look closely, I made it heart-shaped because it looks cute. Aww. Of course, I wanted to keep the bell on his chest to show his playfulness and because it's iconic, and I think it fits in my design too, even though my costume has a different vibe. I saw a few people on the internet that thought the bell made the costume have a certain type of vibe, if you know what I mean, but I don't think the bell was the only reason for that. It was the costume as a whole, and what I thought was that I didn't wanna take the bell out, so I'll make the costume more serious and make it have more of a warrior vibe so that the bell will only give a funny vibe, not a naughty vibe. And also, just in case, my characters will have a safe amount of years added to their age. They're gonna be in college instead of first year of high school. To be fair, I don't dislike Cat's costume design from the show. It's not my favorite, but I like it more than Ladybug's, even though it's simpler than hers. And I said I didn't like her costume because it's too simple. I feel like Cat Noir's doesn't feel as redundant and boring as Ladybug's, because his costume, it's all monochromatic, but the more you look, the more elements you find, so you don't get bored too quickly. You still get bored after seeing it for 4 seasons, but it takes longer than for Ladybug, because her costume, it's the opposite. It's colored and the pattern makes it look like it has many elements, but it's just circles, so it ends up feeling monotone and boring. Like an actual Ladybug, it's more interesting to look at because it has a bigger amount of black and it's not the same pattern everywhere, and some of them even have a bit of white. Heck, some Ladybugs aren't even red, some are yellow. Now, I'm not saying Ladybug should be yellow, but I think there could be a yellow Ladybug, and it's not Marinette. Are you guys thinking what I'm thinking? I think Chloe would be a great yellow Ladybug. Now, don't come at me saying that, ooh, there can't be a yellow Ladybug because Tiki isn't yellow. Well, we've seen that they can take some liberties with the designs, like Rena Furtive, for example. So yeah, it's possible and it would make sense because we've seen how obsessed Chloe is with her image as Queen Bee, and I think if she got a hold on the Ladybug Miraculous, she would want to look as close to Queen Bee as possible. Plus, the yellow and black combo, it's kind of Chloe's brand. Like, I really think yellow is her favorite color. But yeah, I think Chloe as Ladybug, it's a missed opportunity because I don't think that she will get a chance to actually have Ladybug's Miraculous. It would have been fun to have an episode like that though. But I don't know, maybe we will, because we've seen at the end of season 4 that she looked concerned and she was with Zoe. So maybe Chloe will be a better person in the end. I don't know.
Okay, so, because I recorded the audio for this video 3 months ago, when we didn't get to see too much of Chloe in season 5, I had higher hopes for her, but, after what we've seen so far, I kinda don't think she'll be of much help anymore. But maybe towards the season finale, she'll have a change of heart or something, but I don't know.
At least she could be an ally. Not a friend of Ladybug's, but an ally, you know?
And this is my best friend, Valentina. She's an ally. Talk, Valentina. Ally.
Like, they have Monarch as a common enemy now, and maybe with Ladybug's growth, starting to trust Cat Noir more, she's gonna give Chloe another chance. And I think the biggest sign that she trusts Chloe now is to give her the Ladybug Miraculous temporarily. Like, maybe there will be a situation where Marinette can't transform, or there's a plan where they have to switch the Miraculous between them to confuse Gabriel or something. I don't know. Sorry for rambling, guys. guys, that's gonna be a repeating theme in my videos, especially when I get an interesting idea. I get excited and I really want to share it with you, so thanks for listening. So yeah, back to Cat Noir. One thing I don't like about his costume is the lack of variety in the textures, and that's one of the things that I changed. When it comes to texture, all the suits in the show have almost the same texture. In close-ups you can see some differences, like most of them have a hexagonal texture, with some exceptions like Ryoko has a scale texture, or Purple Tigress has a leathery texture, or Felix, I'm not gonna say his stupid hero name, has a different texture too. I think some dog tails or something. Oh, and Chloe, from what I remember, has a honeycomb texture and is different from Ladybug's hexagons, which I think are really fun, subtle details and differences for their costumes, but from a distance they all look the same texture-wise, shiny. And this is one thing I want to stray away from. I want to add some matte materials, a little roughness, some unshiny parts, you know? And because 97% of Cat's costume has the same texture and color, it looks low quality, like a toy that has many sculpted details, but due to low budget, they painted everything the same color. Like if you ever had an MLP toy of a princess, you know how they have the shoes sculpted into their hooves, but they aren't actually painted, they have the same color as the leg? That always annoyed me, and Cat's costume has the same effect on me. So I added parts that aren't shiny at all, and I included some green and gray elements. When it comes to the inspiration for his costume, I wanted to show Adrien's personality and preferences here. But in the show we don't see that he has any preferences beside what his father wants, so I had to improvise a bit, and because the costume I created for him looked inspired by the Marvel hero aesthetic, I wanted to make him really love superheroes and comic books and stuff like that. I also was inspired by samurai costumes for the green parts on his shoulders, arms and hips, and his fluffy pants. So he's also a samurai fan. Future me here. One thing I forgot to mention about Cat Noir's fluffy pants is that I was actually inspired by real life cats when I did them, because cats have their legs fluffier on the upper part and they get narrower towards the bottom. So that's what I wanted to do with his legs. Enjoy the video! I also like how I made both Ladybug and Cat Noir have fluffy pants, even though that wasn't my intention, but I think it's cute. Now let's talk about his accessories slash gadgets, which are his tail, weapon, and the claws on his hand, and I don't know if it could be considered a gadget, but I also want to count his boots because he can use the claws and sharp edges in combat. So his weapon works the same as the one in the show, so nothing new here. The tail can also be used in combat now because I made the tip a bit sharper, and he can also use it to hit others or even scratch them. Now the claws on his hand are detachable and retractable like a real cat's claws, and maybe he can also throw them like darts. I don't know if that helps, but it's something he can do. Like I did with Ladybug, I also added some protection on the elbows and knees, and the green parts on his body also work as protection, like a samurai's armor. Now, as I said in the Ladybug redesign video, their suits are protected by magic, they don't need protection, but I wanted to make them visually look safe. But because the costumes are protected by magic, I took advantage of that and I decided to show some skin around his arms, and because he's protected by the magic of his suit, no one can chop off his arms, so don't worry about that. I think I covered everything about the costume. Now let's talk about Adrien's civilian form. I made him look more different than his hero form, starting with his hairstyle. I made it shorter and a different shade of blonde. His clothes have a warmer palette, and he also wears a necklace from his mother, Emily. I kept his eyes green, and I also added some freckles which are present in his hero form too, because I didn't think any anyone will recognize him based on his freckles, so I think he's safe. I wanted to make the freckles black in the hero form at first and make them look like part of the mask or something, but I wasn't sure about that, so I kept his freckles normal. And we also know from the New York special that their costumes are like magic, quantum, something camouflaged.
Your suit's quantum masking is meant to confuse human minds, Ladybug. I am not human. What?
So maybe other people don't even see his face with freckles, like everyone sees a different face for him, but I don't really want to get into that aspect because in the show they kind of used that as an excuse to be lazy with some of the designs, like for Ryoko or Sabrina, even for Ladybug. Like they kept very similar or identical hairstyles, and they have as an excuse the fact that nobody recognizes them anyway, you know. But I didn't wanna be lazy because of that, so in my universe the quantum magic thing, it's still available, but they also have different looks in their hero forms from their civilian forms. So anyway, hey everyone, I'm interrupting the video because I have a quick announcement to make. I've opened my commissions on Artistry. Here's an idea of how my commissions work. If you are interested in ordering, you can find the link in the description. And here are some examples. I can do sketchy stuff, complex stuff. My style is very flexible, so if you want something different, I can do it. And here's my list of do's and don'ts. If you have any questions, you can leave a comment here or DM me on Instagram and Twitter. Thanks for listening. I'm out now. Bye. Now, when it comes to Adrien's personality, I didn't want to make him and Cat Noir feel like literally different people like the show does. I mean, I get the idea that Cat is the free version of Adrien, and as Cat Noir he's free to be his true self, but I still think there should be some Cat Noir in Adrien and vice versa. That's what I think would be true equilibrium. The canon Cat Noir and Adrien don't feel balanced. They feel like different individuals. I think that Thomas, the creator of the show, wanted to make them feel like two faces of the same coin, but I think he kind of forgot about the coin. They just feel like two separate faces. They are like yin and yang without the switch dots inside, you know what I mean? So I wanted to blend them a bit more. As Adrien, he is indeed trying to do as much as his dad wants, and he really cares about keeping the image that Gabriel wants him to portray, at least in the first season, because Gabriel's happiness and approval is the most important thing to Adrien, especially because Gabe is the only constant in his life and his only quotation marks friend aside from Natalie and his bodyguard and his mom, but she stopped being constant. So Adrien is trying to please his father, and because he got used to that unhealthy behavior, he's also trying to please everyone in general. He thinks that if he's too honest, other people might get hurt or they would start disliking him and abandon him because he was traumatized by his amazing and loving father. Should I even call him father? Like, he's just a masculine, protective, not even protective, a superior figure in his life. Like, his bodyguard is more of a father to Adrien than Gabriel. Natalie is more of a father than Gabriel. So anyway, so I said that Adrien is afraid to be himself and he's afraid to be too honest around others, but Adrien's nice personality, it's not fake or a facade, it's just half of his true personality. He's just pushing away his sassiness. But as Cat Noir, he doesn't care about his image as Adrien because no one knows who he is and he doesn't have the same barriers. He still shows the nice lovable side of Adrien because it's still him, right? But he can also be as sassy as he wants. I also made Cat Noir wiser than in the show and he pays attention to details, so if a teammate does a mistake, he's not afraid of letting them know as Cat Noir and tells them how to improve, so he's not mean or sassy without a purpose. He's just not sugarcoating the truth, which is something he's afraid to do as Adrien. Adrien because he was always punished by his father for that. He always was forced to say what his father wanted to hear, you know? But Cat isn't sassy from the start like we saw him in the show. When he first transformed into Cat Noir, he instantly became his alter ego. In my version, he slowly becomes more comfortable as Cat Noir since there's no Gabriel to yell at him and no image to protect, and Ladybug actually appreciates his positive criticism and his true self, making him even more comfortable with her and maybe starting to catch feelings for her. That's also a little issue in the beginning because he's scared that Ladybug will be upset, so he's not telling her when she does mistakes, but she wants to improve, so she tells him to be honest and to trust that she won't be upset. So Cat grows with the help of Ladybug, and that's how he becomes more honest and free, while Ladybug also grows with the help of Cat Noir because Cat knows a ton of stuff since his father kind of forces him to train, like he's good at sword fighting, he's good at math and other subjects, and he knows other languages. He knows stuff that he thought was useless, but it actually kinda helps him in combat and in missions, and he also is a good observer and planner, and I wanna make one of his favorite activities to be playing chess. I think it's a lost opportunity in the show that they don't dive deeper into what Adrien can do with his knowledge, because we know he's doing a lot of classes and stuff, and at least some of that can help him in his hero life. Like, I know in the show Cat Noir tries to run from his Adrien life, you know, to not think about what he does at home and stuff, but like if a situation calls for his knowledge, we should see that, and it would be fun if there were situations that were calling for his knowledge, because that way we would see more from Cat Noir and he won't feel as useless as he does in the show. But anyway, so in my universe he uses all of his knowledge in combat and to also teach Ladybug and future teammates stuff. I even imagine a training montage where Cat trains other teammates like Carapace, Polymouse, Purple Tigress, Queen Bee and others, and he yells at them and stuff, but in the end all of them turn out great and ready to battle. But as I said, Ladybug also helps him. She helps him think outside the box. She's also paying attention to details, so they have that in common and see eye to eye, but she also tells him to allow himself to make mistakes, because he's a perfectionist and his father didn't allow any mistakes from him. So Ladybug tells him it's okay if he doesn't find a solution from the beginning, and this is something that she knows very well since she's an artist, and she grew as an artist by accepting and allowing herself to make mistakes, because without them there is no growth. I also think it's a nice detail that I included. Look at me patting myself on the back. But I like that I made both of them be paying close attention to details in general, but for different reasons. Like Marinette does that because she's an artist, but Cat Noir does that because he was kind of forced to. Like, he's also observant as a person, but he's more analytical, and Ladybug is more of an artist. And I also want this to kind of be a criteria for how they get their miraculous. Like Master Fu, when I will remake his story too, I want him to like test them more. I don't want them to get their miraculous just based on the fact that they helped him cross the street or something, you know what I mean? So I said earlier that Ladybug, aka Marinette, it's allowing herself to make mistakes because without them there is no growth. And in my version of the story, that's also why Marinette is so clumsy. It's because she's not trying to be perfect, she's allowing herself to be natural. And one thing about her is that many people pity her for her clumsiness, but she's not actually sad that she's clumsy. She accepted that as part of herself. But I also want there to be moments where she faces bullying and it's too much even for her, and Alia and Adrien jump in to protect her and stuff. I also want to mention that she keeps some of that clumsiness as Ladybug too, but she's trying to be more focused and Cat helps her with that. See, another thing that Cat helps her with, like, they should have made Ladybug in the show have some weaknesses that Cat Noir it's good at and vice versa, because it's more interesting, you know? It makes them come closer to each other.
I didn't mention this because of how long ago I recorded this, but so far I like how Marishat and Adrianette are evolving, and that we get cute moments with them, but it happens super fast, and in my version of the story, I made them come closer to each other more naturally and gradually, because they help each other overcome their obstacles and stuff like that.
So, coming back, Ladybug assures Cat Noir that he's not lonely and he doesn't have to always find the perfect idea or plan. He can also rely on her, and he doesn't always have to do everything alone. So they truly work like partners, and that's how he also becomes a little wilder, because Ladybug helped him see outside of his father's box. And as he grows as a hero, he will also grow as Adrien, because he sees that as Cat Noir, even though he's honest, his true friends don't get upset, so we start seeing more of Cat's sassiness and brutal honesty in Adrien too, and we start seeing that true balance and yin-yang, and this growth happens over a few seasons. In the beginning we don't see too much brutal honesty from Adrien, but we still get some glimpses into that side of him with bad people like Lila and occasionally Chloe, or when he talks about Hawkmoth, he usually gets carried away with these people, and we really see him taking a stance against them and protecting other people that get bullied by them, you know? Wow, I think I'm finally done with his personality. I really didn't expect to talk this much about it, especially because I said I'm not usually doing rewrites, but in some videos, if I have interesting ideas or stuff like that, I'm gonna discuss a bit about them. Like, I really had fun getting in depth and to create this dynamic between Cat and Ladybug. But yeah, now let's talk about superpower stuff. I really wanted to make Ladybug and Cat Noir be actually equal in their superpowers as teammates and as team leaders when there's additional members to the team. And I also want to fix or try to fix or at least make a better power system, because like I said in my previous video, the powers in the show are messy and some of them totally suck or are too weak. I want to make each hero able to defeat a villain on their own, so I'll buff all of their powers and totally change some of them, like Caprikid, Viperion, Roosterbold, etc. Like Caprikid's power, it's almost identical to Ladybug's. It's even better in some aspects because he can create what he wants, but he can't rebuild a city though like Ladybug does. And Roosterbold, it's just OP, while others like Pigella are completely useless.
Okay, after Jubilation I think Pigella's powers aren't as useless anymore. She can easily trap a villain in their own thoughts forever, but I still hate her costume.
So that's basically gonna change in my universe. Everyone will be useful, unique, and able to fight on their own. What I'm gonna do for every hero is that I'll increase the number of uses for their powers. There are powers that could be more useful if they could be used more than once, like the Be Miraculous, plus multiple uses are just useful in general. The number of uses will be different for everyone depending on their stamina and experience. Like Cat and Ladybug will have more uses than the rest, but they also started with just a few like everyone else. But for someone who just received their Miraculous for the first time, they're gonna be able to use their power at least 3 times or around 4 times, or even more if they are stronger and stuff. But everyone can reach Cat Noir and Ladybug's level of uses with hard work. We'll see that happening with Urina Rouge too. She'll be able to use her powers more and more throughout the seasons. Aside from multiple uses, I'll also give everyone secondary abilities, like how Cat was able to see in the dark. By the way, we saw him use that power only once in the show, and I don't know why, because it's pretty useful, so I'll keep that ability for him. But in the show I think they were still trying to explore with their power system, whatever. Since I haven't planned the secondary powers for the rest of the Miraculous, I still don't know how they will work, like how strong they are, how many uses they have. I was thinking that I want to make some of the secondary abilities stronger, while other heroes have a bigger number of secondary abilities, but they are less powerful. I also wanted to give some of the heroes, or maybe all of them, some traits, like how Cat had the night vision, and these traits are permanent. They're not activated like how the powers are. Maybe a hero has good hearing, or another one has a stronger punch or slightly faster movements. Like for Bonix, it would be cool to have a bigger jump in general, like an actual rabbit, aside from her superpower, which I'll decide what it will be when I do her redesign. Maybe I'll keep her time traveling power, but I only want to have one Miraculous capable of time traveling, so I'll change the power for Sass and I'll give him maybe something related to hypnosis, but I don't know. Anyway, I'll figure it out along the way as I redesign the other heroes too. I just want to make something different for everyone and they will be balanced and stuff. I just got to figure out how to buff them up or nerf them down so no one seems too OP, except for Cat and Ladybug, because I want them to be stronger. But as a general idea, I want them to have a main power, one or a few secondary powers, and a trait. And maybe some of them are unlocked later or with the help of another Miraculous holder. I want to make things interesting. Hey, future me again. One thing I forgot to mention about the traits is that I'm not gonna force a Miraculous holder to have a trait when they are transformed if there's nothing special to add. So I think Ladybug won't have a trait because I can't think about anything special about a Ladybug besides flying, and I said I don't want to make Ladybug fly in my previous video, so I consider flying a power that it's too strong to be just considered a trait. I want traits to be like super small, but if you have suggestions for what traits I could give her, feel free to leave them in the comments. Enjoy the rest of the video. So back to the fun stuff, which is Cat's powers. The first thing I wanna add to his abilities in order to be on the same level as Ladybug is that I'll give him the power to de-evilize Akumas too. I feel like this is such an important thing to do and a power that he must have since he's also in the middle of the Miraculous box together with Ladybug. Having only Ladybug being able to do this could be troublesome because what if she's not gonna be able to take care of the situation? Or let's say we have to work with multiple villains like in Gang of Secrets and we don't know where the akumatized object is. What if Cat found the object? It would save so much time if he could de-evilize it instead of waiting for Ladybug to do the thing.
Julie, do the thing!
It just makes sense and feels right for Cat to be able to do that too. Plus, this is such a wasted opportunity for Cat Noir to make a cat pun. Just imagine him yelling, "Time to purify this Akuma!" Like, this is actually something he would do. Like how Ladybug yells, "Time to de-evilize!" He yells, "Time to purify!" It's perfect. And the way he de-evilizes is that he projects a white laser beam coming out of his weapon and he catches the Akuma with it. A laser beam would be a perfect match for his Cat Miraculous, don't you think? I feel like it's a great way to add more cat related things to him. Or maybe he can do something else, like maybe he can bend his stick and throw it like a boomerang and the boomerang catches the Akuma and comes back to Cat Noir. I feel like this would work visually because it will look similar to how Ladybug throws the yo-yo and the yo-yo comes back. You know, it would be interesting, but I don't know if it would make sense for Cat Noir to have a boomerang. But I don't know. Let me know in the comments what you prefer. Like if he should de-evilize with a laser beam or with a boomerang. Another change I want to do is that both Ladybug and Cat are the Miraculous box keepers now. So there can't be just one of them that has the box, you need both of them. And they both have access to the Miraculous inside the box by using their weapon. So like Ladybug, he can also go around the town and choose people to give them a Miraculous and help them in a mission. And the way he gets a Miraculous through his weapon one since his stick is too narrow. It's that he projects a laser sphere and he puts his hand inside the sphere and takes the Miraculous out. Maybe I only keep the laser part here when he takes a Miraculous out, and I keep the boomerang thing when he de-evilizes Akuma's. I don't know. Please help me, guys. And another cool thing is that they can periodically switch who takes care of the box, or maybe that could be a problem if they switch it around too much. Maybe they just bury it somewhere since they have access to it or their weapons. Yeah, that's a great idea. Why does Ladybug need to keep the box in her room when she doesn't even need to open it to get the Miraculous inside? I mean, maybe the Kwamis won't have as much freedom if the box is buried, but at least they'll be safe. Or actually, Ladybug has access while she's transformed, so the box is useful if she wants to give Miraculous as Marinette. But no, as Marinette she's never gonna give Miraculous to others, so yeah, she can hide the box in a better place. But the Kwamis will be sad, so anyway, maybe the Kwamis could just hibernate while they're in the box, or they could have like a pocket dimension in the box, like the genie in the lamp. I don't know. Oh, another thing I forgot to mention earlier when I was talking about the hero costumes is that I wanna make every hero have a different aesthetic to their outfit, like how for Cat Noir I made his Marvel-esque aesthetic. I mentioned in my previous video that I wanna incorporate the magical girl show aesthetic a bit more and have like costumes that fit into the hero vibe but also have some magical elements. For Ladybug it was just the fluffy pants and shoulder pads, but doing Cat Noir I realized that would be hard to do for everyone since from what I've seen the magical girl shows don't have magical boys, so I had to deviate from that rule for Cat Noir. So that's why for him I made a more Marvel-esque costume, and I want to have more fun for every hero, so I'll give each of them their unique vibe. Maybe some costumes will have more of a cyborg vibe, or I don't know. I'll just experiment with their costumes and give them more personality than they have in the show. Maybe there's someone that will look more like a knight and someone looks like a cyborg, and we'll see. Now I want to talk about Ladybug's powers a bit because I didn't think I wanted to change too much about her powers in my Ladybug redesign video, but since then I got lots of ideas. In my universe I want to make her use her creation powers more, since in the show we only see her use them only once per transformation. So the first change I want to make is that she is now able to create using her hands, not her yo-yo, similar to how Cat Noir uses his Cataclysm. And she can also create more than one object per transformation, but the more she creates the faster she de-transforms. She has now two ways of creating objects. She can create something using real materials. For example, she can take some sand and create a sand statue, or she can take a destroyed object and create something new from the pieces. So her power is basically the alchemy from Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood, but I'll call it material creation. The second way she can create things is literally from nothing. The objects are created completely by her magic, like the lucky charm in her show, but she still uses her hands. This type of creation helps her create anything without having to know how the object works. So it's like a shortcut for her, but this type of creation drains her energy the most. I call this second type of creation magic creation, and the objects created this way can also possess magical abilities, like how she made those charms to protect the civilians from Hawkmoth, but my version is cooler. She can use magic creation to make amulets, gadgets, and charms to help teammates and civilians. She can make gadgets that combined with a miraculous weapon can result in a stronger weapon. Similar to how, if you saw Steven Universe, the episode where Bismuth appears, I believe the episode is even called Bismuth, she makes like gadgets for their weapons. I want Ladybug to be able to make that too. Ladybug can also make amulets that give a miraculous holder a small boost on their powers, or give them more resistance or stuff like that. So yeah, as you can see, I really want to push Ladybug's powers to the limit. Oh my gosh, guys, my neck hurts because I've been keeping it in the same pose, and my throat also hurts because I've been talking for 45 minutes. I don't know how long this will be in the end when I edit with it, but yeah, I talked a lot. Okay, so back to Cat Noir. Like in the show, he still has the power to destroy anything, but he also has more uses now. He's the only one who can destroy something created by Ladybug. I also want to give him better control over the level of destruction that he makes. He can completely annihilate something or just partially break something. Like he can make a device not work anymore. He can break Ladybug's amulets, and when he does that, they start to work in reverse, like a bad luck charm, like in the show when he uses Cataclysm on a Sentimonster. He can also turn some objects back into their initial materials. For example, he can turn a mug back into clay or glass or whatever mugs are made of, and by turning things back, he makes the job easier for Ladybug to transform those materials into something else. So this is another way their powers are connected and made to work together. But there's a limit to his ability of turning materials back. He cannot turn back living things or objects that were made from living materials. So he can't bring people back to life, or he can't turn a wooden statue back into a tree or a burger back into a cow. He can also not bring something back into a structure. So if a statue is ruined, he can't turn the materials back into the statue, because that's a restoration power that he doesn't have. His power is destruction, so he can only turn back things in a destroyed state. I hope I did a decent job at explaining this, because I've been talking for so long that I feel like nothing I say makes sense anymore, so... So I said that he can only destroy things, he cannot restore things, but there is a way for both Ladybug and Cat Noir to restore things, even living things. And yes, I said both. They can use their powers together in order to restore things to how they were before, in perfect condition, even if they were structures or people or animals, anything. So what I did here is I basically took from the show Ladybug's ability to restore everything back to normal after a fight, and I made it something that both Ladybug and Cat Noir have to come together to do. So this is another way I made Cat Noir more important to the story. Now, instead of yelling
Miraculous Ladybug!
at the end and throwing whatever Ladybug created into the air, now they both yell restoration, and I think this is perfect. Restoration is something between creation and destruction. It's not creating a new thing, it's bringing something back, and it needs something to be destroyed in order to be restored, right? So it's an amplification of Cat Noir's power to bring things back mixed with the creation powers of Ladybug. So it perfectly includes both of their powers, and it makes more sense than just having Ladybug do this like we see in the show. But the restoration power, it's very strong. It immediately drains their powers, like they cannot destroy or create anything after that, and they also will transform back very soon after they use it. That's why they only use it when they finish a mission, but they can also use it on a smaller scale. They can heal someone's wounds together, or they can restore their teammates' energy and health in order to be able to continue fighting, and by doing that they also make their teammates able to use their powers a few more times before detransforming. Also, the restoration power is special because it's the only power that it's a result of two combined powers, and I want to make Ladybug and Cat Noir the only ones able to combine their powers in this way.
What I meant to say here is that they are the only ones able to combine their powers without unifying. Everyone else has to unify if they want to combine their powers. Cat and Ladybug can also unify, but I'll talk about that in a bit.
And just think about all the plot possibilities now. Because we need both of them to restore things, the stakes are now higher, and it's another reason for them to keep their identities secret. Just imagine Hawkmoth figuring out Cat Noir's identity, kidnapping him at the end of a mission where the city is destroyed, and telling Ladybug that if she wants Cat Noir back to restore everything, she has to give her Miraculous. Now that's a big problem, right? Also, now, because they can restore things in the end, they'll take bigger risks, including putting their lives on the line and even getting badly injured, making the everything gets back to normal in the end cliche more tolerable and not an excuse to not take things too seriously in the show. The restoration power is also a hint for what happens when they merge their Miraculous, because we know from the show that they can rewrite the whole universe and stuff if they unify. But I still have to think about how merging their Miraculous would work in my universe, because I have many ideas but I don't know how well all of them would work. I was even thinking that maybe they could possess time traveling abilities when unified, because if they can create and destroy and rewrite anything, maybe they could apply that to space and time itself, right? Because rewriting the universe was messing with space-time stuff anyway, and this way I could also kind of fix the time traveling problems in the show, and I make it a stronger and rarer ability, and I'll give Bonix a completely different power. Yeah, I think I'll keep this power for when unifying their Miraculous, and maybe instead of rewriting the whole universe, the user can just time travel and rewrite certain things that they want to. I think this works better because this way the user has more control instead of undoing the whole universe. And speaking of time traveling abilities, while I was thinking about how I can make Cat Noir unequal to Ladybug and about changing the time traveling powers in the show, because we have two Miraculous that do that and it's annoying, I've had this crazy idea that I don't know if I will keep it, but I was thinking about Cat Noir's powers and what else I could give him to be stronger, and I remembered the myth that cats have 9 lives, and it's kind of an iconic thing for cats, and I wanted to see how I could incorporate that somehow, and I thought coming back to life wouldn't be very useful because it's not a show where characters die that often, and in my version I also want to keep the same vibe as the TV show. I only wanna change and make things more interesting but keep the same kids show vibe, but make it more serious, kinda similar to Legend of Korra, cause it was still watchable for kids but also for older generations. So yeah, coming back to life wouldn't be a very useful power. So I thought about alternatives. And please bear with me a bit, I thought of making him able to time travel a few seconds in the past. So basically I gave him the Snake Miraculous power, but I really don't know if I should keep this power for Cat, even though it would make sense kind of, because it's a parallel to a cat's 9 lives and it would be cool. If I gave him this power he would kinda be more powerful than Ladybug, but Ladybug is already able to create anything and more than once per transformation in my version. She can make stuff from rare materials or magic stuff like amulets and gadgets, and it's kinda more powerful than Cat Noir's destruction abilities because he can only destroy things, so I kinda still feel like giving him an extra power, like going back in time a few seconds, and he can use that maybe like 2 times per transformation because it's super strong, and he can use it more in the future when he gets stronger. But now Cat has 2 powers excluding his purification because they both share that power. He can destroy and go back in time, while Ladybug has just 1 power, which is creation. Even though it's super strong, I still feel like there should be more balance, like Tiki and Plague are the main Miraculous, so I don't want one to have 2 powers and the other one to have just 1. So I'm thinking since Cat has a time related power, maybe I should give Ladybug a space related power, so maybe she can teleport for short distances. Guys, I know it feels weird because we're not used to seeing them with this many powers, but I feel like it also could make sense since, as I said in my story, when Tiki and Plaque would be unified, they could basically manipulate space and time, so they are kinda tied to that power. So I feel like it would work in the story if Tiki would be connected to space and Plague with time. But again, I don't know if I should keep this idea, guys. Please help me in the comments. Like, it would be cool and they won't be able to use it without a limit. I'm thinking the creation and destruction are the main powers for them and can be used multiple times, while the space-time powers are a special ability and they can only use those 2 times and maybe more in the future. And when they unify, that's when all these abilities are maximized and limitless. Please let me know in the comments what you think about this idea. I'll make a poll on my community tab and I'll plan on making a future video where I'll draw Marinette and Adrien's civilian forms and discuss about their relation and also about their powers a bit, and I'll decide there if I'll keep the space-time powers for them, okay? Thank you, guys! Hey, it's me from the future once again. So while I was thinking about Cat Noir's ability to time travel, I think I realized something. I think that the creators of the show also thought about that idea because it's one of the first things that comes to your mind when you think about cats, that they have 9 lives, you know? And I think they also were thinking how they could incorporate that in the show, and I think that's why in the finale of season 2, I think, or it was season 3, I don't remember, but it was when Cat Noir unified with the Snake Miraculous. Like, I don't think it's a coincidence that he got to fuse with a time-traveling Miraculous. And I also have an even crazier theory. I think the only reason that they created Sass and the Snake Miraculous is to just have Cat Noir be able to time travel, you know? And I think they wanted a time traveling power that wasn't as strong as Bonix, and that's why we have 2 time traveling miraculous powers. Because I kept thinking, why do we have 2, right? It doesn't make sense because the snake's power isn't that strong if you think about it compared to Bonix, but it works very well as a secondary ability for Cat Noir, you know. But the way they created the power system and the way they wanted to have the powers didn't help them in any way, because they just want everyone to have just a single power. And I also think that's why they took away Cat Noir's night vision, and it kind of sucks, you know. I really think they created Sass just to give it to Cat Noir. But if that was the case, then I think we should have seen Cat Noir and Sass unify more, you know. So maybe in the beginning they created Sass to be combined with Cat Noir, but they also wanted to treat Sass like his own miraculous, you know, because it would be weird to just create a miraculous only to have it fuse with another miraculous and not be its own thing, you know. But again, why do we have 2 miraculous that are capable of time traveling? Oh, and in season 5, the first or the second episode, I forgot, we see Cat Noir fusing with Bonix, the second time traveling miraculous. So I really don't think these are coincidences. The only times we saw Cat Noir fuse was with time traveling miraculous. So they were clearly thinking about the 9 lives thing. I also think they created Sass just so that Luca would get to see that Marinette is Ladybug and Adrien is Cat Noir, and be able to go back in time and reverse things. So yeah, I don't know, maybe Sass was created more for plot purposes, but we've also not seen Sass being used too much. I don't know, maybe I'm looking too deep into things, but there definitely was something about the 9 lives and the time traveling stuff and Cat Noir. So yeah. Oh my god, I think I'm finally done, guys. Thank you for watching and for subscribing. You guys are the best and you motivate me a lot to put more effort into my videos, and you help me not think that my videos are for nothing. So if you enjoyed the video, please cataclysm the like and subscribe buttons and purify the comment section. This was my most difficult video to make so far. The script was so long and it took so much time to write because I tried to write it between commissions and also because I had to write stuff for Ladybug too, so I kind of wrote things for 2 characters here, but I think future videos will take less time and they will be shorter, and I plan on making at least 1 video per week. I don't know if I can do that now, but I wanna get there, you know? I at least don't wanna keep you guys waiting for
5
months between videos, so that won't happen again. I also plan on uploading mini speed paint between bigger videos like this one, cause I also like making those and I wanna keep showing you guys things I do, but those videos will be short and I won't talk in all of them. But yeah, see you guys next time and have an amazing day/night. Bye!